¿Qué onda with those things again for tuning in to yet another video? Infamous coming at you live from the West Coast. Yet again, San Jose, California. So I just saw a video, MarvelKid87. He's calling, of course, the Super Cruiser an overpriced bike for what it is. I'm not entirely sure. I saw the video. You guys saw my video. I released it yesterday, I believe. Published it yesterday. I just saw Marvel Kid's video today, and I believe he was wrong on a couple things. All right. Now, $26,000. Yes, that is pricey. But if you pre-order the bike, you're getting it for $24,000. So if you're actually serious about the Super Cruiser, you got to get your deposit in before November, the deadline that I mentioned in the video. You're getting it for $24,000. That's only $4,000 more than the Lowrider S. Now in his video, he kept on comparing it to the Lowrider S. So let's go ahead and look at the Lowrider S 2024. Of course, MSRP $20,000. All right, beautiful bike. I own it. I love my Lowrider S. I like it. All right, he owns a Lowrider ST. They're both the same. Just his has frame-mounted fairing with saddlebags. Mine at purchase was this. All right, I've done a ton of mods to it. So yes, good looking bike. I believe both bikes look fantastic. You know, people have been saying otherwise. This looks exactly like an FXR. Exactly like an FXR. The same frame, same silhouette, everything identical. I don't know why people are calling this bike ugly. It's not. It's absolutely gorgeous. I like that that radiator. It blends in with the frame. Style-wise, the spokes, the wheels, you know, everything I absolutely like about the bike. Now, if you pre-order it, like I said, if you pre-order it, you could get it for $24,000 and change. All right, pretty good deal. And the reason why I'm saying that, of course, is when you compare the Super Cruiser and the Lowrider S, they're not the same. All right, you're getting basically the bare bones on the Harley-Davidson market. You have to do a ton of this. All right. He also mentioned, oh, just throw a 131 in it. Big deal. 20,000. Now you're at 27 and 5. Let's just round it up. $27,500 for a Lowrider S. All right, and that's what he made it sound, right? He's like, oh, just throw a 131 and you're gonna have a better bike. Supposedly, it's not gonna be the same as performance, but yes, it's gonna have potentially 150 foot-pounds of torque, 160 foot-pounds of torque, and 160 horsepower with the proper tune. All right, that proper tune, that's gonna void your warranty. All right, that's gonna void your warranty, and I haven't even gotten to the other part. All right, I'm gonna work into it. Okay, so you're gonna get a Lowrider S. You're gonna throw a 131, and you're at $27,500. Right, so now you're over the Super Cruiser price, and you're not even close to the performance. Like I mentioned, probably on the torque side, but you guys also have to remember the Lowrider S weighs in at 670 pounds. If I remember correctly, this bike weighs in at 670 pounds. The Super Cruiser weighs in at 400 and change, 460, 470 pounds. So there's a 200-pound difference. Like I said, there's also just one more thing that you have to account. It's the labor. All right, that's one thing that he forgot to mention. How many hours are we looking at to put in that 131 crate? Depending on the dealership and the shop time, you're probably looking at 16 hours worth of labor. Potentially, maybe 16 hours. I think book time would be 16 hours for a complete engine swap. I don't know. I've seen some of the guys, SRK cycles, they were able to do it in, I believe, 8 hours, but there was 3 different mechanics. It was, I don't know the names. I know it was the bearded mechanic, the HD mechanic, and then, what is his name? Josh, the main SRK cycles guy. All 3 of them were wrenching on the on the Road King. Remember that episode? It was the Road King. They got it done in about 8 hours, if I remember correctly. 3 times 8, you're looking at 3 days. That's, you know, that's not 16 hours. So like I said, it really depends on the book time, but you're looking at potentially $3,000 to $4,000 worth of labor to get that 131, to get this installed. So you're already somewhere around, you know, $13,000. potentially, I'm saying with labor at the dealership, so you can retain that warranty. All right. So for you to retain that warranty, 2 years unlimited miles, you have to have the dealership install this for you. So you're looking at $13,000, $14,000, all said and done. So for you to have a lowrider S with, you know, not the same performance, not the same handling, but somewhere close to the Super Cruiser, you're already at $33,000 for what you're getting from EBR. All right, you're already at $34,000. Now remember, I did say to get it at 160 horsepower, 160 pounds of torque, you need an aftermarket tune. You're not going to get that at Harley-Davidson. So if you want to retain, if you want to retain that that warranty, you're using their mild tune, which is EPA California compliant. And if you guys saw Shea Tree Surgeon's video on his what is it called, Kingzilla? I can't remember. This was 4 years back. He had a 131 in his Road King, and I believe that cranked out somewhere around 130 something horsepower and 130 foot-pounds of torque. Very mild. Even the mechanic in that episode with Shade Tree Surgeon said that they could easily get 150 horsepower and 150 torque out of that Road King if they were to use an aftermarket or a non-50 state tune. So even after, you know, because Marvel Kid said, "Oh, just throw a 131 in this thing." All right, you're not gonna. I mean, just saying, if you want to keep the factory warranty, you're not gonna hit 100, nowhere near 180 horsepower or 140 foot-pounds of torque. You're not gonna hit it. There's no way. You would have to go aftermarket tune so you can see those numbers. And then on top of that, considering the price of the engine and the labor rate and potentially, you know, the tune, who knows how much you're going to end up paying, but you're probably somewhere around, all said and done, just to have the performance, not even the suspension. Yes, this has inverted forks, but I'm not entirely sure. I think EBRs, I don't think they're using Öhlins. I saw it on Marvel Kid's video. They were saying that they're revising the suspension so they can make it a little bit affordable, I guess. But you know, just the performance wise, it's you know, you're somewhere around $33,000 out the door with the Lowrider S. All right, so that's, you know, that's something that I mentioned out in my own video with the Super Cruiser. You're getting pretty much the best of the best as far as handling, performance, and style. You know, that's something that I did mention in my video. And I think what Marvel Kid also failed to kind of notice is when you're buying a Harley-Davidson, I mean, yes, it's $20,000. Yes, it's $4,000 cheaper or $6,000 cheaper, depending on when you got your pre-order or when you're buying the Super Cruiser. But remember, this is basically, how do you put this? If you guys can find a way to just mention it in the video. I mean, you're buying into their platform or their ecosystem or whatever you want to call this. You know, you're basically looking at, I mean, if you're looking at keeping that warranty, once again, there's the aftermarket, of course, it's huge for the Harley-Davidson. And that's, you know, one of the things that I am going to get into with the EBR. But I mean, Harley-Davidson is leaving a lot of potential on the table. You know, they're not including any of this. You know, this is, you know, there's 9 pages. Look at this. There's 9 pages. There's over 386 products with Harley-Davidson. This is their Screamin Eagle line. And this is what they want you to kind of get into, all right? You're buying their bare bones bike, which is $20,000, and you still have to spend potentially, you know, looking at all this stuff. You could go absolutely nuts. You saw what's it called, $1 Million Bogan on his CVO, the white one that he purchased. This was like 2 years ago. He bought it for 30-something thousand because it was used, and then he sunk in another $20,000 worth of suspension performance. $20,000. Like I said, you could go nuts with all the aftermarket stuff, or you could go nuts with the Screamin Eagle products. 386 products. This is basically what they're leaving off of your lowrider S. So you would have to purchase it after you buy their base model, which is the the lowrider S. You're looking at, you know, jugs, pistons, intakes. I mean, look at the exhaust alone is $4,000. This one over here, sorry, this is the stage 4 kit, $4,000 for this. That's a 131 stage kit, $4,000 plus the labor. You know, you're looking at another $3,000 of labor to put all this stuff in, $6,000. You know, you know, the tuner itself, the $360, the air cleaners. Here's the comp. You know, there's other stuff that, here's the plate kit, the pump and the plate. Here's the 64 throttle body, the injectors, like all of this stuff you still have to add onto your bike. All of this, the lifters, all of this, the cam bearing. I mean, Harley-Davidson knows what's wrong with their bikes. They have they have the solution to that problem, and it's their Screamin Eagle lineup. All right, they leave all of this stuff off of the bike so they can sell it to you at a lower price, and then you would have to, of course, buy all this stuff. With the EBR, they don't have such thing. Okay, I already made a video on this. It's 1125 Rotex engine, and they upped the displacement to 1190 at EBR. All right, and you're getting pretty much peak performance and everything else, peak performance, peak handling. They don't have a EBR Screamin Eagle lineup or anything like that. You're getting pretty much everything that you want. And you know, as far as the exhaust, of course, that's something that that's something that they don't have control over, because of course EPA, California compliant, this bike needs to be 50 state legal. So they're gonna, of course, have those options. I believe from seeing the interviews, they will have options after you buy your bike, but that's because, you know, depending on where you live, you'll have to buy a California compliant exhaust, and then the aftermarket might catch up and they might start doing some stuff. But quite honestly, for this bike, you don't have to do anything to it. It's got the Saddlemen seat, it's got the Memphis shades, fairing. You don't have to buy anything on it. It's like a CVO. You're buying the CVO at $43,000, $46,000. It's gonna have all the Screamin Eagle products on it already installed. You don't have to do anything. You know, it's like comparing a CVO to the Super Cruiser. You don't have to do anything to it. It's already set. It's exactly the way you want it. They're giving it to you with the full displacement, even more, because it is a 1125. They're giving you a bigger displacement at 1190, 180 horsepower, 140 something foot-pounds of torque, and the bike weighs under 500 pounds. So, you know, enough rambling. This video is already pretty long, but, you know, it's the same thing. You're looking at, you know, you buy a Harley-Davidson, you're looking at Screamin Eagle products. Better yet, you're looking at aftermarket products to improve your bike, to improve its performance, to improve its suspension, to improve its handling, stuff like that. There's just so many products out there. You know, a lot of people joke around that Harley-Davidson has been keeping aftermarket products in business for years, S&S, as a joke. You know, what's that other saying? Harley-Davidson, they've been keeping local shops or independent shops in business for years, because how just unreliable their products have been ever since, you know, 2008, 2009. But I don't know. You guys can let me know in the comments. You guys agree? I mean, once you start, of course, thinking about the Screamin Eagle lineup, the product line, then you start thinking, you know, the labor as well to get this installed. You guys can let me know in the comments. You know, yes, the lowrider S it's $20,000, but this thing is somewhere like in 80 horsepower, 90 horsepower, the way it sits. I believe it's somewhere like 80 or 90 horsepower at 100 and maybe 115 pounds of torque. The way it sits. Sorry guys, 20,000, or you could spend an extra 4,000 and get yourself a pretty cool custom looking bike that has the same stance and the same riding position, which is upright, you know, like a cruiser, but you have the suspension, the handling, you have all those benefits. You also have some technology, some rider assist, a TFT display. You know, there's a lot to like. LEDs all the way around. The Lowrider S, you still have bulbs. All right, you still have bulbs here, and you still have bulbs here. Yeah, you have an LED in the taillight and a daymaker on the headlight, but I mean, you're still gonna have to purchase the Screamin Eagle, LED lights, and they have them. And here it is, right here. They're LEDs, rear signature LED turn signal, $130. Then the front ones, the front LED turn signals, another $130. So you're looking at $280 plus tax and installation if you don't do it yourself. You know, there it is. Like this is what Harley does. They give you the bare bones, and they want you to pay for every little single thing to kind of get it to where it should be. You know, it should be. I mean, this should be standard on the Lowrider S. The LED turn signals. These should be standard on the Lowrider S from factory. All right. Some of these parts as well. The ramp. You know, the comp. That should be Screamin Eagle from factory. Here's the cam bearing. I believe is this the cam bearing? I'm not sure. The lefty bearing, the Eagle, Screamin Eagle. Like this should be factory from Harley-Davidson. Like this is the stuff that should be released from factory from Harley-Davidson, but they don't do it. They don't do it because they want you to pay for it. You know, like all of these components, Harley they could do it, but you know, if they're doing this, then the dealers aren't making any money because they're not able to install these components on your bike at $180 an hour or $160 an hour, depending where you live. $180 here in my area, probably $160 where you guys are located. So, you know, that's that. Thanks for watching. Thanks for tuning in to yet another video. You guys can let me know in the comments. Am I wrong? Is the EBR Super Cruiser really that bad looking? I don't think so. So life's a risk. Get out there and ride. Later.